I think I see it. I'm sorry. Was that yours? Got it. Okay, I see it. Thank you. You know something? This is the longest article in the history of KTFA's articles, final articles. I got the private banks, and I'm looking for the Islamic. Got him. Thank you to Claire. Okay. Hi. Is it okay? Greetings, family. Welcome to a historical UB2B. If you don't know what has happened, what time is it? It's almost 6 o'clock in the morning. Or what am I saying? It's almost 6 o'clock in the evening, and by now you should know. And if you don't know, greetings, family. Welcome to another one of your Frank26 UB2Bs. It's good to be with you. And like I said, I believe this is a historical UB2B. I greet you in agape love. We are KTFOH.com, which stands for Keep the Faith in Our Heavenly Father. Let's talk to Him. You want to? Father, I come to you by the blood of your Son Jesus through the Holy Spirit that you left for us, and to be with you and to tell you that I appreciate you, to tell you that I love you, to tell you that I enjoy worshiping you. I like reading your word. That was interesting, Father. You. I have a feeling you use your word in the Bible uh, to talk to us. I mean, I know your word talks to us, but what I'm trying to say is this morning, I thanked you. I thanked you for my meat that my wife had made for me. And I said to you, you like the smell of incense, don't you? Like, you like the smell of a good meat sacrifice. I read it in the Bible. And I said to you, would you like for me to burn incense for you? And then I opened the Bible. Where are we, Father? We are in the book of Isaiah. And I think it was chapter 51 or something like that. And what does it say? What do you talk to us about? Incense. Father, I got a smile on my face because I realized and I knew it was you. Like I said, I love talking to you. I especially love it when you talk back. It just blows my mind. I love you. I enjoy being with you. I give you everything. I try my best not to keep anything. And if I do, come and get it. Feel free to come and get it. It doesn't belong to me anyways. I am yours. What I have is yours. We have a saying here. We say, "Mi casa es tu casa." But in this case, your house is my house. I dwell in your house. I live in your domain. Father, in my opinion, something major has happened in the study that we're involved with. I give you thanks for it. I ask you to help me. You help me. And now I ask you to help me to to share it. It's been a long road, Father. And I pray that those that study with me know, understand, and realize that this is here. It's coming. And I pray they don't become lottery winners and lose everything at the blink of an eye. Because the enemy is out there waiting for them. Protect us from the enemy. Protect us from he or it that wants to take us away from you. Be jealous of us. Don't let him call for our names. We're too busy with you. Again, I thank you for what we're about to do. And I give you honor and glory, Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus, through the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Amen.
They can't hear it.
They can't hear it? That dog is crazy, you know that? I've never seen a dog that just won't stop barking. Yesterday, he must have been inside the house, huh? Can y'all hear that dog? The whole world, everybody's calling us, Tank. It just won't stop. I'm sorry. I can't answer your phone. We're here to study the Iraqi dinar. Not really. We don't need to study it. We're here to. We're here to. We're here to look at what the CBI did today. Did you see what the CBI did today? They put out a report, an article, and it's the longest article in the history of KTFA. I can't stand those dogs. Now there's 4 or 5 of them. Huh? They can hear them a little bit. But it's driving me insane. I should just go inside the house. But I can't. Yeah, so family, what happened today is that the CBI decided to talk to the Iraqi citizens. Now, yesterday, well, we'll talk about it in a minute. But look, go into final article thread. Go to the last article. Look at this. Look. Watch this. Red, 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 red. It's the longest in the history of KTFA final articles. Red, 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 red. What is so long from the CBI that I labeled it red and blew it up 5 times? What is so important? Well, before we get to studying, I'd like for you to understand that I am wearing a red and blue shirt. This is red and this is blue. It's like he's talking. Anyways, so yeah, that's my opinion. Obviously, something's wrong with my eyesight, huh? And something could be wrong with my opinion. Now that we've established that, what did we talk about yesterday? Well, here, let me help you. Because I told you yesterday, this is amazing. This is off the hook. You know something? Every time I do a UB2B, they're powerful. No, I'm not taking credit. I give thanks to God and I give thanks to the CBI and I give thanks to my teams. Because what they told me, the CBI is now telling everybody. And I'm grateful to God for that. But I've noticed, even in my own form, nobody talks about what I teach. Well, they do, about 4 or 5 of you. I would encourage you to talk to each other, especially after tonight. He's something else, huh? Maybe I ought to go give him a T-bone steak or something. Can I bark back at him? No?
Shut up!
Somebody called today, and what did they call me?
Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson. Why?
Because he always yelled at Dennis to shut up.
Because I was yelling at Dennis the Menace to shut up yesterday. That was so funny. Yesterday, family, if you look at final article number, please get to our forum. You're not a member of our forum. You may regret that. It's not a threat, it's a challenge. You may regret not being a member of our forum because you think I'm going to answer the phone when this thing happens.
I'm not.
You're not, Tink?
Nope.
Come on. And what am I going to put in the form? What am I going to put in TFA that nobody else? Go on into ktfalways.com and go to the very last page, page 299. Wow, I like things in threes. Oh, tomorrow, ring, huh? Look at this. Yesterday we talked to you. Said the Association of Private Banks reveals the latest details of banking reforms in Iraq. You're going to reveal the latest information, the latest details of the banking of the monetary banking reform of Iraq. Really? Yeah. Where'd you get it? Well, what's the title? What's the title of your UB2B? The papers. Who brought you the papers? Olive oil. What? Olive oil? No, stupid. Oliver Wyman. You got too much oil in your head right now. Oliver Wyman. Remember what were those papers? Um, is this a test? Just answer the question. Um, the plan for the monetary reform of the Iraqi dinar. Yeah. And when they presented it, what did they tell them? Do it, do it, do it, implement it. That's right. And we suggested that they only have so much time to do it. And this is insane. Family, there are gigantic, huh? Yeah, those are from, I forget what they're, I think it's the 32nd Airborne Division. They're flying over and it's so loud. Hold on a second. In Hawaii, we couldn't get away from those planes. In Hawaii, we had, we even had the F-47 there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Remember when I went to the uh, Pearl Harbor and I took you guys into the museum? I think I took you. Yeah, I took you into the museum. Well, I'm back next to it. Yeah. Anyways, I shouldn't talk about that. So the Association of Private Banks revealed the latest details of the banking reform in Iraq. And then it says, yeah, you're noting that the monetary reform plan, uh, it has reached its final form. And that's what we suggested to you when I was in Hawaii. I said, family, you may not believe it, but in my opinion, it was around the 19th of August that that more than white papers were presented. Yeah, and here you got this telling you that we have reached the final form, and it will include all the private banks without exception. Well, we know that, and why is that so important for me to talk to you about it? Because that's what Aki is. And it would behoove you to be a member of our forum because they're telling you. So Aki's private bank is ready. Aki, you ready? Yeah. Okay. What you doing? I'd rather not tell you right now. What? Dude, it's me. It's us. What's the matter with you? Hmm. Walking stick. He's serious. He's serious, isn't he? Yeah, Frank. Let it go. Cool. And the more I thought about it, Aki has never not wanted to talk to us. Good. So the private banks with okay, so we know what that's about. Then look at the next one. And what was it that we said to you yesterday? We did the private banks, and now we're doing this. Well, the Islamic Bank Association affirms its full support of the monetary banking reform of Iraq, a monetary reform banking plan. Really? Well, all you Islamic banks, you're okay with this? Well, you okay with the monetary reform? Yeah. You know what the monetary reform of the Iraqi dinar is, right? To add value to their currency for purchasing power for the citizens of Iraq, and also to bring security and stability for me as an investor into the country of Iraq. That's right. Yeah, that's exactly what the monetary reform plan is. Is this a coincidence or what? Now we have sirenses and ambulances, and this is insane. The doggone insane.
Dog quieted down.
You finally quiet it down. And we still got the F's over here flying to the right. And now to the left, we've got all these sirens. What is this, Father? Are we celebrating or what? Because the Islamic Bank Association affirmed its full support of the of the banking reform plan for Iraq. And you guys are okay with this? I thought you didn't want them to raise the value. Well, we didn't 20 years ago, but it's a different story now. What's the difference? All we needed was a new president in your country, and then the rest of the world fell into place. Yeah, dang. Yeah. All right, so Islamic banks, you're saying that you're all for the monetary reform. Yeah, we firmly believe that this plan represents a pivotal and necessary step to enhance the stability of the and security, yeah, of the banking reform sector in our country, and it ensures its sustainable growth. The float, yeah, and serving the higher interests of the national economy. Look, your economy can't do jack unless you have your monetary reform. That's right, and that's going to serve the interests of our national economy. Right. Okay, monetary reform, and then the economic reform. All right, all right, all right. You guys, you convinced me. And then today, ladies and gentlemen, we see this article, and it comes from the Central Bank of Iraq, and guess what they're talking about? The monetary reform of their currency. Get the Frank out of here. Are you kidding me? No. Well, yesterday you got all the banks in the Middle East talking about it. Yesterday you got all the private banks in the world talking about it. And now you're telling me that the Central Bank of Iraq, okay, what they say? The banking reform, the monetary reform plan, our banking reform, our monetary reform plan enters a decisive phase. A decisive phase? They called it the final phase. I called it the third stage of the phase. So CBI, you're telling everybody this, aren't you? Oh, what you telling them? Read. But it's like 3 miles long. Read it. Okay. Family, do you want me to read this to you? Baby, let me know what they say. Now, I am as serious as a heart attack. I always joke around with you. But do you want me to read this to you? I already showed it to you. Look. In here is a plethora. This is a cornucopia of valuable, delicious information. And guess what it's all about? The monetary reform of the Iraqi dinar to add purchasing power to it. Would you like for me to dissect this? You want me to tear this apart? You want me to just rip it and tell you what my teams and when my team saw this? Not in a state of shock, in a state of relief. Everything that we've ever told you, family, everything we've ever taught you. Do they want me to read this?
Everybody said yes.
So you have the time, huh? All right, it's final article number 5,975. It's the very last article in our thread. I got a bunch of notes from my teams. Let's spend some time together. You want to? I'm hungry, babe.
Yep.
We're going to eat later.
Yep.
Okay. My baby made me food earlier. Anyways, this is from the Central Bank of Iraq. Look at their logo; it's so pretty. Look at that's the inside of the new building of Iraq. The central bank and banks are in a race against time. Excuse me. The title: the central banking, the monetary banking reform enters a decisive phase. What is that? Well, the central bank and the banks, the private banks, are in a race against time. Urgent. Did we not say that? They're running out of time. The Iraqi banking sector is going through a critical phase where economic and financial considerations intersect. The monetary reform and the economic reform. Yeah, okay. Where they intersect with the demands of the structural reform. The demands of the structural, purchasing power increase. With the demands of the structural reform that have been postponed for years. Tell me about it. You know what Eddie told me today, family? He says, I'm moving to Jordan. What the what do you want to do that for? I'm mad. Oh, for crying out loud. What are you mad about today? We should have had it by Tuesday's going. Today's Friday. Eddie, read this article. Where'd you get this, Mr. Frank? From the CBI. You moving? No? Yeah. So after it's been forever. We've been trying to get this done. It's been postponed. It has been postponed for years. Then it says after decades of challenges, at least 2 decades, and amid international and local pressure to improve the efficiency of the financial system. Who do you think that pressure's from, family? The sub T from international and local pressures to improve the efficiency of the financial system. The reform papers. Oh, you got the papers from Oliver? Yeah. The reform paper, those papers, what were they? They were about the monetary reform. They want us to implement it now. The reform papers, you have to realize, family, that what I'm reading you is what we have taught you. Every word that I'm about to share with you is from them. When we were done reading all of this, it was silent. There was only one voice. It was walking sticks. And you know what he said? Did I did I blankly did I did I write this? We all lost it. No, but you sure did in all these 2 decades you've held our hands and guided us, sir. And this is everything. Here we go. So yeah, this they put pressure on us to improve the efficiency of the financial system, and the reform papers launched by the central bank in coordination with an international consulting firm. You know who those firms were, and it emerged as an attempt to rebuild trust and establish more robust rules for banking operations. Citizens of Iraq, do you trust your banks? No. Investors around the world, do you trust the banks of Iraq? No. But all of a sudden, they do now, and more robust rules in banking operation. You're talking about security and stability, aren't you? Yes, we are. The importance of this issue goes beyond the financial dimensions. Really, it's more than the finances of your country. What else does it deal with? It extends to the borders. I know you're. In fact, that's where our troops are now. It extends to the borders, institutional context related to the state's ability to formulate economic stability tools and meet transparency requirements. In other words, you see, when they say transparency, I see you. It's not that they can see the CBI. The CBI sees you. You try to steal something. So yeah, so we formulated our economic stability with the tools, and we met transparency requirements, which in turn are linked to the confidence of the investors in international donors. Walking stick, tell me about the guys that signed contracts. How they feel about Iraq right now? They are, they're frank, they're chopping at the bits. Yeah, I know. In this contents, economic expert Ahmed Abdul Rabubu, speaking to Baghdad Today, predicted. I like to make a prediction. What? Predicted that the end of September will be the deadline for the private banks to sign the final amendments to the reform papers submitted by the Central Bank of Iraq in coordination with Oliver and Weinman. What did I say about the month of September? That historically, that's when Iraq has done any type of movement, good or bad, add, subtract, anything to do with their currency. It's always been historically in the month of September. And the title starts out by saying you're running out of time, urgent. And in here, it tells you that the timing, it turns out that the end of September, I know, that's not a date, but that's a time frame they gave to the Iraqi citizens. Never before. Never before. It's even in quotations. You're reading it with me. The end of September will be the deadline for private banks to sign. Put your John Hancock here. No later than the end of December. Hey, Trump, how much you give him? One more month. Okay. You gonna give him another break after this one? HELLNO. Okay. Exclamation mark. I got you. Okay. The end of September will be the deadline for private banks to sign the final amendment to the reform papers submitted by the Central Bank of Iraq in coordination with Oliver and Weinman. Quote, this timing reflects the central bank's awareness of the country's need to end the period of hesitation and embark on a clearly defined reform path. According to conservative estimates, setting a timetable for signing aims to overcome procrastination. So you said what? Setting a timetable. So setting a timetable puts pressure on these private banks. Sign on the dotted line. We are ready to change our value. The signing admit to overcome the procrastination. No more procrastination. Sign it. That accompanies the first round of dialogue with private banks, the first, and transforms reforms from theoretical ideas into practical commitments. You think we should add value to their currency? Let me think about it. Theoretically, sure, why not? Hey, don't think about it. What did I tell you? Sometimes even your thoughts in your head are not yours. Wow, this is amazing. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Continuing. Adjustments in response to the market pressure. You made adjustments in response to the market pressure? Who put pressure on your market? Mr. T. You know that he's putting it on every market in the world. Adjustments in response to market pressure. Recent developments indicate that the monetary reform was not imposed unilaterally, but rather it came after a series of technical discussions with banks. Abdul Rabubu explained that quote, the central bank has made extensive amendments to the banking reform papers. That's right. They did. They amended it to put the new exchange rate in it. That's right. I didn't catch that before. The central bank has made extensive amendments to the banking reform papers over the last weeks. That's right. Okay, in my opinion, it was couple, about 3 weeks, around the 19th of last. Last Come on, man. Let me have some fun. Um, The central bank has made extensive amendments to the banking reform paper over the past weeks in response to the comments submitted by the banks, noting that it was keen, it was cool, no, it was keen to open an extensive an extensive with Iraqi banks to clarify the technical aspects of the reform papers. Hey, what you got there? Well, you see, here's what we're going to be doing. Whoa, jeez Louise, thank you. This clarification note that we made with our private bank, this clarification reveals a collaborated process that balances the reform requirements with the market pressure. Oh, really? Well, you ain't got nothing to go against your currency. Yeah. It would create a balance in the market instead of the unbalance that you've had all this time. This clarification reveals a collaboration process that balances the monetary reform requirements with the market pressure. According to economic estimates, the central bank's understanding of banks' comments reflects its awareness, which CBI, it reflects our awareness. According to the economic estimates, the central bank's understanding of banks' comments reflects its awareness that implementing strict measures without consensus could hinder and the banking system's ability to keep pace with changes. At the same time, this dialogue seeks to establish the principle of transparency. I can see you, you can see me, and we're not hiding anything, and a commitment to guardialism as a means of ensuring the effectiveness of the reform, consistent with similar international experiences in reconstructing banking sectors. Oh my word, that's a lot of words. What does it add up to? What does it mean? Yeah, okay. All right, so I will share my team's notes, and but let me just keep reading. Now, this gradual monetary reform or this gradual reform with privacy in mind, the discussion is not limited to the form of reforms, but also includes its pace, which has been very, very retarded, very slow. No, very delayed. The discussion is not limited to the form of of the monetary reform, but also includes its pace. Abdul Rabubu pointed out the importance of implementing the monetary reform mechanism gradually, taking into account the specifics of Iraq's economic realities. We had to do it slowly but surely. And we're at the last phase. We're ready to implement it. He emphasized the need to adhere to this reform in principle. Principle, my ass. Just do it. He emphasized the need to adhere to this monetary reform in principle while formulating standards and procedures in a way that enhances confidence in the banking sector and contributes to its development. Oh my gosh, and that's all the services that the CBI banks and the private banks are offering. That's what they're talking about, which is that's the formulated formula that they use as standard. What did it do? It built confidence not just in the Iraqi citizens that hate the banks in Iraq. I mean, they got reason. They were all Iranian influence, but also outside the investors. When I talked to Walking Stick today, I said, well, maybe I shouldn't go too into it, but yeah, his friends are very happy. Yeah, because you see, they're going to make an ROI now. Yeah, so will we, I guess. Yeah, he said the discussion is not limited to the form of the monetary reform, but also includes the pace. Abdul Rabubu pointed out that the importance of implementing this monetary reform mechanism gradually, taking into account the specificities of Iraq's economic realities. He emphasized the need to adhere to this reform in principle while formulating standards and procedures in a way that enhances confidence in the banking sector and contributes to its development. Now, I read it twice because basically what it's saying is that The world can trust us now, and so can the Iraqi citizens. And the world knows this. And you, as a student of this investment, you know it too. According to economic readings, this position reflects the traditional tension between the imperative of a rapid openness to the international standards. Man, we want to float. And the demands of a local reality characterized by fragility and instability. We need to raise the value of our currency because it sucks. Gradualism. I love how they use that word. That's twice they used it in this. In other words, the monetary reform has gradually been, moving forward. Gradualism, financial experts believe, reduces the shock to small, medium sized banks and gives the sector efficient time to adapt to the new regulatory environment. All right, I agree. I agree. Slowly but surely. But there was too many delays along the process, and you allowed yourself to be weak. So I don't want to hear about this gradual stuff. What else you got to say? Well, gradualism, financial expert. Oh, yeah, I read that too. More sustainable. This makes our monetary reform not only a tool for course correction, fix your exchange rate, but also a means of rebuilding the contract between the state and the private financial sector on more sustainable foundations. You signed a lot of contracts. Yes. The essence and the dimensions of the amendments, what about them? Well, the recent amendments raise fundamental questions about the nature of the role of private banks will play. But the amendment was the new exchange rate. Abdul Rababu explained that the amendment, quote, includes extending the capital requirements for banks. The amendment dealt with their currency. Oh, yeah, okay, that's what I said. Includes extending their currency requirements for their banks, reconsidering the ownership structure, and in other words, you gonna get along. You own this bank, Aki. You doing the right thing? Cool. You can stay. Including extending the capital requirements for banks, reconsidering the ownership structure, and abolishing the foreign partner requirements, USD, bye bye. Thus, well, that's why I threw that in there. When I look up at you, that's me talking. Thus, providing banks with greater flexibility in implementing the monetary reform and strengthening their role in supporting the national economy. Of course, that's what the monetary reform is going to do. This change has multiplied institutional dimensions. Oh, that's beautiful. The way that this monetary reform change has multiplied institutional dimensions, multiplied many, many more institutional, their banking structure, dimensions, the way they're running them with the technology of today. Extending the capital requirements reduces immediate financial pressure on the bank. What did you tell them to do last week, about 3 weeks ago? Load up your banks with money. By the way, did they load up with 3-0 notes? No. Did they load up with foreign currency? No. What did they load up with? Can't tell you. Extending the capital requirement reduce because do you want to play? Do you want the monetary reform or not? Yeah. Well, then accept these lower notes, you dumb, you knucklehead. If not, bye bye. Close the bank. Am I boring you? Should I stop? When I sent this to Walking Stick, I called them. I said, "We got to get the boys together, and the lady. We got to talk." I said, "I need for you to read this and call me back." Family. As I'm talking to him, I'd say within 15 seconds, I said all that. He says, "I'm already halfway through it." I'm like, "What? I didn't know. I didn't know." He told me something I didn't know about him today. He's a speed reader. A speed reader will read in blocks. There's a way to do that. I'm a semi speed reader, I suppose. I read in blocks too. Wow. Extending the capital requirement reduces immediate financial pressure on the banks. That's why they loaded them. While reconsidering, have you caught on to everything we've taught you? I'm saying it to you. Extending the okay, while reconsidering the ownership structure opens the door to restructuring the relationships between the local shareholders and regulatory authorities. They can trust your banks now. The abolition of the foreign partner requirement reflects an enhanced shift towards independence. Bye bye, US dollar. Stand on my own 2 feet. This is amazing. Enhanced towards independence, but it also raises the question about the ability of local banks to bridge the gap. Stand in the gap, family. Some of you remember. But it also raises questions about the ability of local banks to bridge the gap in expertise and technological typically provided by an international partner. And that was all the three-letter agencies from IMF, WB, UST, everybody that got involved. They brought in their expert and technological information, and they became the international partners to the CBI. According to economic estimates, these amendments represent an attempt to balance strengthening financial autonomy with creating practical flexibility. That's a big fancy word to simply mean the banks of Iraq have been loaded with a specific amount of currency, I don't know what kind, that is about ready now to take care of the citizens of Iraq. Sorry about that. And that's what we suggested. Continuing. Now, timing and the objectives of the monetary reform doesn't say monetary, it says reform, but they're talking about that. Timing and objectives of the reform, Abdul Rabubu believes that, quote, the banking monetary reform, comes at a crucial time as Iraq seeks to enhance the banking sector's capacity to finance developments and investment projects and reduce financial risk by adopting more flexible and transparent standards. Basically, our banks are ready to go. They're loaded, they're the high tech, they're well protected, and they are linked with the world. So are our citizens. The success of the monetary reform paper represents a fundamental step towards achieving comprehensive financial stability, you think, and increasing confidence, you think, among local and international investors. Hey, Eddie, local investor, would you like purchasing power? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, contractors that have, or you that have the Iraqi dinars, would you like to, for you to, would you like to be, would you like, would you like financial stability with the currency of Iraq? Yeah, 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 yeah. Why? Well, it would mean a windfall for me. Yeah, that's right. Now, continuing, this is so long. This link between the monetary reform and the investment reflects that the goal is not limited to improving banking efficiency. Well, that was the main goal, and it was to bring security and stability against Iran. But what else do you think it means? The link between monetary reform and investment reflects the goal is not limited to improving banking efficiency, but extends to the building of an environment that is attractive to capital. You think? Because you ain't got no capital until you raise your own. According to research estimates, the signal of confidence that banking reforms can generate will be crucial in repositioning Iraq on the international financial map. International financial map? Are you out of your mind? 1310? You can't be on no international financial map. You can't even float. What's the matter with you? Well, that's the whole point of this report, Frank. Iraq is now on the international financial map. Internal internally, I mean, that the financially, that's externally, but internally, the financial stability is also a prerequisite for confronting the reoccurring economic crisis that the country has experienced over the past 2 decades. That's right. I've been waiting for 2 decades. And you're saying that it's now the time, the third phase, or whatever phase you want to call it. You're saying in this article that the monetary reform has improved your banks and built confidence inside and outside. Well, this is fantastic. This is great. That means you have security and stability. That means you've dealt with corruption from Iran. This is good. That means you're paying attention to Trump because Trump is Trump is doing a GCR. I guess I don't know. and, and you know what? I'll be the first to say I was wrong, bro. I was wrong. Oh my goodness. Continuing this monetary reform, the reform as a barrier to sanctions and corruption. Yes, that's what we were. Yes. So the monetary reform is a barrier to the sanctions that was going to be, well, that were put on you, and also for the corruption from Iran. Oh, well said to the citizens of Iraq. What else you say? The banking monetary reform was not only a domestic choice. Yeah, the citizens wanted. It also came in response to external pressure. Where to go, Mr. T? That external pressure was linked to the risk of an international sanctions. You gonna put more tariffs on it? Shoot, Frank, I was gonna put sanctions. I'm gonna put tariffs. I was gonna there. So it's going on 7. They shouldn't do that. So yeah, what we did was brought by the pressure that was linked to the risk of international sanctions. We didn't want Trump to put sanctions on us anymore. We didn't want the UN to put any more sanctions on us. You know, it, the delay. Look, the delay in adopting the required standards and the bank's slowness in complying with regulatory controls opened the door for international oversight bodies to question Iraq's ability to manage its financial sector transparently. I can see what you're doing. According to financial estimates, this situation increased the likelihood of some banks being placed on the watch list or sanctions, negatively impacting the smooth flow of the financial transaction and the external transfers. In summary, what was being done by the Iranian politicians, you know, delaying and stealing and constantly lying that, oh, Sudani's not going to give you what you want. Sudani hates you. No. They were the mirror image of the Democrats here. They are the mirror image of ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, PBS, Public Radio Network. All of those are communist, anti-American. We just had Charlie die, and they're out there complaining about it. How moronically sick are you? Family, I'm asking you, stay away from those channels. According to financial estimates, this situation increased the likelihood of some banks being placed on a watch list or sanctions, and they sure were. We showed you. They slapped them. They bit their. They, they female dog slapped them. No, seriously, they didn't. The U.S. Treasury moved in. They watched everything. And they said, "You're close. You're close. You're close. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You lost your license. You lost your license." And we saw it. According to the financial estimates, this situation increased the likelihood of some banks being placed on watch lists or sanctions, negatively impacting the smooth flow of the financial transactions of the external transfers. Yeah. Economists point out that part of this crisis was linked not only to technical shortcomings. Well, yeah, you guys were so primitive. You used chalkboards and chalk in um, in your Iraqi stock exchange, in your herbal stock exchange. How primitive is that? But you became modern, didn't you? You became high tech. Economists point out that the part of the crisis was linked not only to technical shortcomings, but also the dominance of influential groups. Excuse me? Frank, come on, man. Quit horsing around. You know very well what we're trying to tell everybody is that, hey, not only were we not technically up there, we were shortcoming, but also it was due to the dominance of the influence of groups. Parliament of groups within the banking sector who took advantage of weak oversights, like in the auctions. No, in the auctions. Yeah, all right. Who took advantage of weak oversights and widespread corruption to obstruct any serious monetary reform attempt. I know everything we taught you. There it is. This dominance eroded international institution confidence in Iraq's ability to implement the standards, making any delay in a monetary reform, economic reform, a direct threat to its economic interests. Therefore, the current monetary reform papers, should be read not only as a regulatory framework, but also as a fundamental line of defense to avoid potential sanctions. Raise the damn value of a currency, or we're going to get sanctioned again and rebuild. And if we do, it will rebuild confidence in a sector that has for years been synonymous with fertility and political tension. We've had these cockroaches on our backs forever, but no more. And how many times have I said that to you? And here the CBI screaming it to the world. Eddie's like, I told you, Eddie was pissed this morning. He wanted to move to Jordan. And I showed him this, and he's like, where'd you get this? CBI. For years, they had to avoid the potential sanctions. And now they have to rebuild the confidence, but it's already there in a sector that has for years been synonymous with fragility and political tension. Now, the upcoming challenges and the implementation prospects of Iraq are mind boggling. Abdul Rabubu concluded by saying, in the coming weeks, we'll witness The coming weeks will witness ongoing negotiations and coordination between the central bank and private banks to ensure all parties agree on implementing the reforms smoothly, like peanut butter, and efficiently, like Frank 26. No, no. Did you hear that? Okay. I told you this UB2V was going to be historical. Can I read it again? Okay. In the coming week, uh, in the coming weeks, we'll witness ongoing negotiations coordinated between the central bank and private banks. The central bank. Hey, Augie, you ready? I'm ready. We ready? We coordinated. Let's go. Okay. Between the central bank and private banks to ensure all parties agree on implementing the reforms smoothly and effectively, and the monetary reform smoothly and effectively. These measures represent an opportunity to restructure the banking sector, done, and strengthening its role in the national economy, done, after years of financial challenges and economic fluctuations, done. This statement outlines the next phase. That's the third time the hold on. Oh my God! I'm sorry, Lord. I didn't mean to use your name in vain. You saw that, huh? You saw it? I've never seen that before. What the heck's going on? And the direction was, oh my word. They should be going east and they're going west. They're coming around. No, no, no. Jan, this reminds me of when Donald Trump sent them over there to Nook, Iran, and we were watching TV, and I said, "Babe, they're going the wrong way." Remember when Trump sent the B our bombers? I saw them take off, and I saw the mountain range, and when they banked, I thought they're going west. They're going the wrong direction. The next day, we find out they went. They fooled me. They fooled me. Family, what my wife and I just witnessed. I don't want to exaggerate. 1,000 feet, Jan? Not even. Maybe 700 feet. I have never. Maybe I could see the pilot, and they came right over our house. Baby, tell them, baby, what you saw.
They were fighter jets, 4 of them.
4 of them. You could see the cockpit. I'm sorry. That gave me chills. I was raised. I was raised with
What
nothing.
kind of plane was it?
I don't think I should say.
Because look, was not. It didn't look like that plane.
Are you kidding me?
Those planes were white, red, white, and blue.
It doesn't have to. I never. What? And it's for who? What's fighter jets will fly over 7 high school football games tonight. The 180th flight fighter wings. That was them.
But that plane was white.
It's okay. That was them. That was the plane. That was it. Wow!
And the games just started. Right
And the game's just starting. Is it 7 o'clock?
now.
Almost 7 o'clock. Yeah, the kickoff. Wow, we experienced something so cool. I got chili bumps. Oh my goodness, that was amazing. And it was so loud. It reminded me when we went to the Cleveland Air Show. They flew right over our heads. Back to work, family. This statement outlines the next phase. Wow. Where the debate is no longer about the feasibility of the reform. You don't want to debate it anymore? No, no, we ain't going to talk about it. But rather about the mechanism for the implementation and consensus. You don't want to talk about the feasibility of the monetary reform, or should you don't want to debate whether it should come out or not, but instead rather you it's about the mechanism for the implementation and the consensus. Well, I'm consensus. Here's the mechanism. Put it in my hand, man. Wow! Didn't we? Isn't it good to see this information that we've been telling you about? According to the institutional estimates, the success of these negotiations will depend on the central bank's ability to strike a balance between the requirement of financial discipline, the proper exchange rate of financial discipline, and the flexibility demanded by the banks. Okay, all right, that makes sense. But not just the banks, but by the government. Mm. The gradual conclusion indicates that what has changed in Iraq's entry into a mandatory phase of reform, of monetary reform, after a long debate. What has not changed is the difficulty of building full consensus in a sector suffering from a long legacy of division and volatility. That's so true, but okay, so what you're saying is the gradual conclusion indicates that something has happened. There's a change that is occurring, and it's a mandatory into a mandatory phase of your reform, of your monetary reform. Something has changed after a long debate. That's wonderful. Now what has not changed is the difficulty of building full consensus in a sector suffering from a long. No, 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 no. You are in control of your country. You're in control of these cockroaches. No, no, no. What has not changed is the difficulty of building full consensus in a sector suffering from a long legacy of division and volatility. The expected impact is a gradual restructuring of the banking system. You got it. Opening the door to enhanced confidence. You got it. And stability. And you got securities too, provided that the pledges are transformed into measurable and enforceable obligations. In other words, the white papers, you want to make sure that they are that they my beef. I crush my heart, poke my eye, stick a needle somewhere. I promise not to mess up the monetary fund. I promise to be loyal. I promise to do everything that is supposed to be done. The expected income is a gradual reconstructuring of the banking system, opening the door to enhanced confidence and stability, provided that the pledges are transformed into measurable and enforceable obligations. Are you following the laws, banks? And the answer is yeah. Well, okay, cool. Then we're all set. Are they happy? Family, today we started out with what we started out with yesterday. It was the Islamic Bank Association and the Association of Private Banks. I already told you about Aki and private banks. I already told you about the Islamic banks. I can't believe that they all have been bragging. I mean, yesterday, these two articles, why would they come out and say, hey, we cool with the monetary reform of Iraq? Why are you bragging about the monetary reform of Iraq? The Islamic banks, private banks. Why? Why? Because they're about to do really good with these banks of Iraq. No more stupid penny pinching PIP movements of one or two. No more of that. So I asked Walking Stick, I said, brother, this is insane because this is almost word for word of everything we've been teaching pretty much last year, this year. And he said, yeah, I don't think I can say to you. I don't know. On the phone, I sent it to him and he started to read it. And like I told you, I found out today that Walking Stick is a speed reader. He's able to read in blocks. And I thought, uh, I, 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 I said, brother, I need for you to look this over. Let's get everybody together. We need to discuss this. And then 15 seconds of me saying that, he says, I'm already halfway through it. I said, how can you be halfway through it? I'm a speed reader, Frank. I read very quickly. I said, oh, okay. Well, what do you think? He said, he was quiet. And I said, what do you think? Which took him about another 5 seconds or so. And then he says, holy shit. I said, yeah, I know. It's pretty cool, isn't it? He says, Frank, you realize what we got here? Yeah, I do. What we have And forgive me, family, because this is it's all chicken scratch. I'm gonna do my best to read my own writing. What we have right here, Frank, is what we have been telling your KTFA followers for the last few years. And if you look really carefully at this section right here, they just put a hard they just put a hard date or time frame on this by predicting that the monetary reform would be implemented by the end of September. To which I said, yeah, historically they've done everything in September. Walking stick, can we call upon Aki to help us? As you know, he's not talking, but I will call him on the sat phone, and that's where he does talk to me. I can call Aki on this time frame to verify and see if that's when he has to be done. Thank you, sir. Wow, Frank, this is nice. They say that they put international pressure and local pressure. Obviously, you know where that came from us. That's Trump right there, in coordination with Oliver Wyman, because that's who Trump sent. Everything I'm saying is my opinion. Quote unquote, it says the papers that they brought to the CBI was the monetary reform, and that's what they are about to implement in this final phase. They're telling you that they now have confidence, and they say confidence of the investors, not just the citizens. That's big, Frank. Bigger than confidence with the citizens. They have been they have been lining up. My friends have been waiting. They rewrote their contracts and they're still waiting. Aki has friends with the same condition with their contracts. Notice, Frank, they just said this is the final amendment of the monetary reform. Then he said some other few things, but then he says, man, they must have been reading our minds because look here on this line, they say a need to end the period of hesitation. That's why they're going to release these papers. Look over here. This paragraph, third line, the time, and they're saying September, the timetable for signing the, the monetary reform with all these banks needs to lead, needs to over. Oh, the fact that they established a timetable at the end of September for signing the papers removes procrastination. There you go. That's true. You have a goal, an end goal, end date, and phase, whatever. Okay, I like that. But what I like more, sir, is that you're going to be able to ask Aki, and I know Aki's going to answer you. He didn't have to answer me. I know he's going to answer you. Oh, still with walking stick. Very encouraging, Frank, because Every procedure, every step that we've ever shared with you is now written out here, just like we told you they were going to explain to them. They're implementing the reforms. Talk. They're implementing the monetary reforms, taking into account that Iraq's economy is a reality. And the reality is a new exchange rate. This is a really good article, Frank. Everything we've been talking about. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And that's where he said, "Heck, okay, this is a very good article, Frank. Very good article. Everything that we've been talking about. Heck, did I write this article? Did I write this? Did I write? It was it I who wrote this article because this is everything I've been telling you, man." And then he says, "Look right here. The the annihilation of foreign partners reflects a shift towards independence." And that's what we've been trying to push to get the family to understand, Frank. They have to stand on their own 2 feet. And then I said, they have to stand on their own currency. And he said, no, he didn't say anything. He said, yeah, yeah. This is the signaling of the monetary reform, Frank. They're telling you in this report that they're increasing international interest, international confidence. Oh, God, what does that say? Oh, I see. They're telling you that they are increasing international investors' interest and international confidence, and all of this confidence is not born from 1310. This is signaling the monetary reform because they are saying what they're about to do will put the CBI on the financial map. You got to look at every word, Frank. Trump also, oh yeah, Trump is also involved here. Look, the pressures from the international community, that's Trump all day long. That's Trump all day long. The pressure was from Trump. Walking Stick encourages all of you to read this because there is a lot in here. He says, there's a lot in here. And that's enough, family. I've been with you a long time. We're done. What do you think? Oh my goodness. I give praise. I give thanks to God. That's what I think. And I would ask you to do the same thing too. I'm not even going to read you Eddie's report because to be honest with you, it's just really not even necessary compared to what we just did. Look at all the calls of people while we were doing this. Oh, dear. So, anyways, yeah. What do you think, family? This is fun because it's vindication. Vindin. Am I saying it right?
Vacation.
Vindication. It it makes me feel that we've done a good job. I feel satisfied. A lot of you worry. I don't. It's not like I can see more than you can see. I just study more than. Oh, Jen, hummingbird in back of you. Hummingbird right there. He's up at. You hear him? He just took off that way. He just took off. He's so sweet. My wife puts sugar water. He went over there. He smelled it. My wife puts sugar water in a red bowl. They're attracted to red and they can smell the sugar. Anyways, as far as Eddie goes, yeah, there's no real. No, it wasn't until he found out that what I sent him that he felt much better. I'm done, family. If you studied the Iraqi Dinar with me, God bless you. Have a good evening. I don't think we can top today or tonight. And if you hang around for a little aloha, you see what's in back of me? This is a bird of paradise. It's a very powerful plant. Turns into a big tree like. You can put meat, pork, wrap it up with the leaves and bury it. 9 hours later, it tastes so good. But bird of paradise. We've lost important people that mean a lot to us. And as a nation, we seem to be reliving the days of John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy. I saw them all die. Back in those days, they were very brutal. They just showed you and boom. Nowadays, they censor, but I saw those three gentlemen die. I didn't want to see what happened to Charlie. There's no need to see it. But it is my hope that humanity can turn to God, because in paradise there are beautiful birds, there are beautiful plants, and there is Jesus Christ waiting for us. I thank you kindly for being with me tonight. This was definitely historical. So I wore white. I wore white, but I left that little black on until the gap is filled. Got it? Thank you for being with me. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's what, Saturday? Yeah. KTFA family, please talk about this, okay? Talk about this. Post. Let me see what you have to say. I gave you my heart and soul in interpreting this article. I don't even know if anybody else on the internet had it. Well, I hope they do. They got it now. So I leave you in peace. Sweet aloha. Thank you so much for being here. If I was you, I would think about thanking God. I would think about talking to God about what just happened. Sweet aloha. God bless you. Bye bye. Bye bye, Tink.
Bye.
I love you.
Love you too.
How much?
Whole bunch.
Mm.